Hey, look, man. I'm more interested in getting Yahweh back into like pagan standards. I don't mind Yahweh's existence. It makes a lot more sense when you limit him to the same level as all the other pagan gods in their station, in their agency.
Do you think he
Yahweh
was?
Yahweh's a fairly Saturnian deity, and that's okay.
Well, I think
Um,
it's like anything. It just depends. It's like any symbol. It could be used positively or negatively in that same way. So
Yeah. It's just that, yeah, like Yahweh was religiousized so long ago and so uprooted by the tribe that preserved the discipline and then preserved the scrolls and the scriptures that they wrote. That they when they forgot whatever was going on with their oral tradition, they just became super literalist about it and became as Jordan Maxwell called them, and others called them before him, were the people of the book. Because that's like, no offense, guys, but Christians, Muslims, Hebrews, and any other faith that is chapter and versing through life, you are people of the book. You are in a book club that poses as spirituality.
well, with you saying that, I um I watched an Archaics recently. I think it was the one with Open Your Reality. And it's a couple of hours and it's really, really good. And he basically talks about, like, at the very beginning, like literally the first 20 minutes, he's talking about how he went into prison, basically a Baptist, right? And still holding on to those Christian traditions in his mind that, it's Christian and I'm going to prove it by reading all these books. And he started reading all these books, which led him to he read the Bible multiple times over, which led him to read the book of Joshua, which was like, because it kept saying in like the book of Kings, or one of those books, is like, yeah, as it is written in the book of Joshua. So he went and looked for that book, and that took him to all the apocryphal texts.
I think it was actually Judges, right? That like somebody had finagled the book of Joshua to say that it was the book that Joshua was a man who was one of the judges, but Joshua was not a pronoun. He said it was not it was not a name.
Yeah,
It was not like, I mean, it was the name of the book, but it wasn't named after a guy's name. It had a very particular meaning, and maybe somebody called their son Joshua and then he wrote something down, but that's not what the book of Joshua is. The book of I forget what he said that it was, but it was titled as was what its record was about.
Yeah. So all that said, he read through all these apocryphal texts, pseudepigraphal texts, and he came to the realization that the book of Genesis and the book of Revelation are basically bookends to material that was taken from, and I'm guessing it's
Right.
the Old Testament. That's material that's taken from Babylon, from the Akkadians, from all these other places. And these peoples, these Jewish peoples, or whoever they were, Hebrew peoples, co-opted the content and made it their own. And so this Yahweh, they made him their God. Whereas there was no mention of Yahweh in the Old Testament at all, ever. But all of a sudden in the book of Exodus, this Yahweh appears. So it doesn't, he said he was reading through Genesis, and he's like, if you take Genesis and you read Genesis and then you read Revelation, he's like, it's like those like almost came from the same place, but all the other stuff in between did not come from them. It's like they took that material and then made it their own and put it in a book and made it their own.